Hello, Global Stars. So today we are on the day 6 of our 25 Python projects for beginners to advanced. And I'm not only sharing the project, I'm also sharing along with the source code. So this is the final year project. And this project of today, we are in project number 13, which is the library management system. So you can see a glimpse of it. This is how it looks like. But don't worry about that because I'm going to explain. When we explain, I'm going to run the code. You're going to see how everything functions. So this is a glimpse of how the project looks like. So now this project we are having, which is the library management system. This library management system, the expectation we are having for this project is this. So in this Python project, we are going to build a graphical user interface based library, which is a GUI management system project using the Tkinter library. We have the SQLite 3 API and the message box module of the Tkinter. So here you will get what we are going to get to learn about some exciting features of the database management in Python and apply them in real life, which is very beautiful, right? So this library management system I use to manage the information about the content in a library. They are used to manage information related to both their names, the codes, author names, whether they have been issued or not, if they are available or not, or so. If so, who has issued them and what is their card's ID? You get it is the person has issued the book or who is receiving the book. So a library management system is used to store and manage all this information, which is beautiful. So what is the objective of this particular project? So the objective of this is to create a GUI-based library management system that is going to build this. To build this, we have to we need some things. What are the things that we need? We need an intermediate understanding of the SQLite API and also its commands. Intermediate understanding of the Tkinter library and also the TDK modules, tree view, and basic understanding of the message box. So with this, what are the objectives of this particular project? So the objective of this is to create a GUI-based library management system. To build this, we need some things, right? What are the things that we need? We need an intermediate understanding of the SQLite API and its commands, intermediate understanding of Tkinter library, the TDK module tree view, and a basic understanding of the message box module. So guys, before we continue with this, for all those who have been here, to my returning subscribers, thank you so much. You have been rocking with us from day one. Those of you who have been you have subscribed, you're always there to like the videos, to comment, to share. Thank you so much. And I hope it is very helpful to you. And if you're stumbling on this channel for the very first time, guys, just click on this subscribe button. You look down, you see subscribe button. When you click the subscribe button, you will see a small bell. Just hit that bell. Tap on that bell icon and then you choose all so that whenever we upload new videos, you're going to get notified. Remember, there are 25 Python project, and this is the 6th and this is the 13th of it that we are doing. So, and also when you're watching this video, guys, it costs you nothing, right, to support the channel by just clicking the like button. Before going to our IDE to be able to, that is our Visual Studio Code, to be able to start explaining about the code, the first thing we need to understand some things that we need to know that there's some things we need, the prerequisite for this particular Python library management project. So the Python library management project prerequisite, to build this project, we will need the following Python libraries. The first one we are having is a Tkinter. So this Tkinter, we're going to use it to create the GUI, the graphical user interface, and of which we are going to be having what a message box, which a message box is going to display the boxes showing information or error or asking yes or no. We are also, the second one we are going to be seeing there is a TTK tree view. TTK, the tree view that we're going to see, that is going to what? It is to display all the information in the graphical user interface window, the GUI window. Then the last one we are having is just a simple dialog, which is just going to use to predefine the simple dialog boxes provided by the Tkinter. Then the next thing, the second one we are going to be seeing is the SQLite, to create the connection to the database and perform operation in it. So the SQLite 3 library does not come with pre-installed, or so you will need to do it. Does not come pre-installed. You will need to do what, to run the following code, the following command or code to be able to install it, which I've given here. So now let's head over to our Visual Studio Code to be able to see how we can run this particular project. is how the well library management system is going to use. This is how the GUI is going to look like. This is a GUI we are standing in front of like this. And now these are the things, because now I'm just going to give you a small glimpse of it before I start explaining the code to you to understand. And as I said, I'm going to share the code in the description below. You're going to get a link to my GitHub account to download the code of this particular project for free, and even other projects. You can download even the other project. We know we have been doing this project from day one till now. So this is the 13th project that we are doing. So the other ones you can also see there and download and practice with them. Okay. So the first thing we are having here, for example, we are having this particular library management. So when new books come to the library, the books that are inside the library, that the library manager is supposed to enter into the system so that we can save them in the database. For example, let's say we have the Python programming. The book name is Python programming, and then now the book ID. Let's say the book ID. I'm just going to give just give something. Let's say it's #1 2. Let's say that is the book ID. It's just anything, okay? Just understand that is the book ID, and then you have to give the author of the book. Who is the author of this particular book? Let's say the author of this particular book is Anten Nash. Anten Nash. Now, the status of this book, is it available? Yes, it is. Let's say it is available. So if the book is available, we leave it. If it's not available, means the book is issued. So for now, the book is still available. So we keep on available. Then we need to know, need to click on new record. When you add a new record, means the record is going to be added into the database. So, and then we are going to be able to see it in our book inventory is going to display there. So I click on add, and then it's going to tell you, ask you, the message, the box is going to appear. Are you sure? You see, it's telling me everything. Are you sure this is the data you want to enter? If it is not the data, maybe if there's something, then maybe you've entered something wrongly. You just check if something is, you've misspelled something or anything is wrong. You say, please note the book ID cannot be changed in the future. We know book ID, something like student IDs, they are unique. We know they are unique. When you're entering data in the database, they are unique because you identify a particular student. Like, for example, in the college, student ID, each student is identified by their student ID. So it's a unique field. We can have this, we can have children, we can have students with the same name, but their IDs are different. Their IDs are different because they are unique. You get it? So yes, I want you. If I click on yes, automatically the record is telling you the new record was successfully added to your database. And if it's added to the database, then I should be able to see it on my book inventory. It should be able to display here. You get it? So it displays here. Now let's say I'm adding another record. Let's say it is a Java programming. Java programming, the book ID. I'm just going to give anything also. Just like the ID, they say that's the book ID. Okay, don't bother about it. And then the author, let me just say that's the author name. I'm just giving. Now, is it available? Let's say it is issued. I'm just going to keep it as issued, and then I'm adding the record. Means that what the book is there, we are recording it, but the book is issued. Means that what they've issued the book to a particular student, isn't it? The record is entering the database, and now it's going to ask you who issued this particular book. So the library manager now is supposed to give now the ID number that he issues the book. So he's going to ask you issuer's card ID. It says, what is the issuer's card ID? So now let's say the issuer's card ID is 101. So I'm going to just click on OK. So automatically it's going to ask me, are you sure this is the data you want to enter? Yes, everything the same thing. Yes, this is the data. Now look here, when you look at it, say, okay, the record was successfully added to the database. Now when you look on the book inventory, you can see that now it has been added. But it's added now as the status of the book that the book has been issued. You get it? It is available, but it is being issued. Means that there's a particular student that have issued the book to the student is using the book for study purposes. And we can see who issued that particular book, so that if in case anything should happen, we can be able to trace how to locate to get who issued the book. As you see, cut ID of the issuer, you see that's how we're having it. Because this one was not issued, we are not having. And then coming now, in case you've entered a particular record, let's say C programming. C programming, and I enter the particular, maybe the ID. I'm just putting something, the ID that I entered there, and the author's name. I'm just giving anything, the author's name, and then it was available. Now I discovered that there was a mistake I made here, and I don't want to commit. I don't want to add the record. I just click on clear field. It is going to clear automatically for me to start entering the record again. Now coming here now to these tabs here, let's try to understand this. Now, if in case I want to be able to delete a particular record. I want to delete a book record. Maybe, for example, let's say a particular book is out, maybe it's outdated. They are not supposed to use the book again because like for example, we know the Minister of Education changes the book sometimes. Maybe it's outdated and we don't need it inside there because like we don't need to clock the database for all these things. You want to delete, you just need to do what? Select the particular, you select it. If you select the book, okay, let's say HTML, HTML textbook. Let's just say HTML. It's a textbook HTML. The ID, I'm just going to give anything, something, the author. Let's just say mm, white brown. And then, okay, I'm just going to keep it as available. It's okay. Add a new record. Okay, the same procedure. Everything is added successfully to the database, which is beautiful, right? Okay, now look at what happened. So if in case now a particular record, let's say this HTML now, like for example, the HTML book that was there, now HTML5 is the one that's having the added features, right? So I want to be able to put record with that book now and then take all this one because we don't need it, maybe we don't need it again in the database to plug it. So you just select it and then you click on delete record. Automatically, it deletes that particular record. It says the record you wanted to delete was successfully deleted. Click on OK. So you see, as a library attendant, you see the record has been deleted. You see, we no longer have the HTML here anymore. It's no more existing. Now, if in case before coming here, I'm not going to do the because we say delete full inventory means that the entire database is going, every inventory you've entered in the database is going to get deleted. Means that everything is going, this page is going to be blank. So with that, then let's go first. So update book details. So if you say to view a record, to view a record, you must select in the table. Please do so before continuing. You get it? So whatever record you want to view, up to the same thing here. If you want to delete also, it will tell you. Please select an item for the data from the database. Means that what if you don't select that particular item, you cannot be able to delete. If you want to view also, when you select like this, you view, you click here, you see automatically you can view it from here. Then you can change whatever you want to update there. For example, if in case I want to update something, the ID is unique, you cannot change anything there. Let's say maybe you want to update now the new Java programming book. It's a different person. Let's say it's a different person that is having it now. It's a different book. It's by different author. So now it's issued. I want to change the things. If you want to make it available, you can. It was issued before. I want to make it available. Can just change for me. You can do the update. So you see, because of that, you see, I'm able to update the thing. But because they this in the book ID is unique, you cannot change it. You get it? So these IDs are the IDs you're just given, isn't it? So now if I click on update record, automatically it is going to be updated. Can you see it has changed from that it's gone now to Peter White. And the book now is not issued, means that it is available, isn't it? So now the next thing is to change the availability of a particular book. If you click here, it's also going to tell you to please select from the database for it. So we're going to select from the database. Let's say I want to select Python programming. The Python programming now, when I click on change availability means I want now to go to, for it is available. I want to go to now issue it. So if you're issuing it, that issuer, the person that is issuing that particular book, as you're issuing it, we need now, what is that we need to do? We need to be able to get your ID. So let's say now 102. The issuer now ID is 102. So click on OK. So you see now it is showing inside, means that the person that issued that book is the ID is 102, means that anything you can be able to trace it back to get it. You get it? Now, if you're done, let's say for example now, I've covered all of this, which is the essential things. So I've covered everything. The last thing I've not covered is this. Let's say now, for example, Now, what is happening now is this, is that this particular inventory, what happened is this, we want to, like, for example, we want to be able to delete, let's say we want to delete that particular, the particular inventories, means that all the books now, there are new books that have come, and all these ones are old books that are now outdated, and we don't need them anymore. We don't need them in the database anymore. We want to put new books. If you just click on delete full inventories, it's going to tell you, are you sure you want to delete the entire inventories? Because this command cannot be reversed. You get it? Now it is not asking us to select because it is the entire inventory we are deleting. So if it is a no, you click no. If it is a yes, if you click on yes, automatically the inventories get deleted. Can you see? So that is it, guys. Let's now try to see how I can be able to what? Explain the. So, yeah, the various steps. So, for example, we have to import all necessary libraries. That's the first thing we need to do. The necessary libraries we are having here is import SQLite 3. So, from Tkinter import, we are going to be importing what? These are the things we are going to be importing all these from the Tkinter library. You get it? We are going to be able to import all these particular from these Tkinter modules. You get it? So we are importing all the necessary modules and connecting it to the database. When we import them, we need to do what? We need to connect them to the database. And then after we've done that, the next thing we need to do is that we need to what? Initialize the graphical user interface, which is a GUI window. You get it? Which and a window, and then placing all its components. Then the next thing we are going to be doing is that we are going to be defining all the data storage and manipulating functions. So for us to be able to understand. So let's try to get a closer look to see everything for me to explain for us as we go, because you see, it's a pretty long this thing. The code is pretty huge. You get it? It's pretty long. So this is all, but I'm going to explain everything, and don't worry about it because I'm going to share this code as I've told you guys. The link to the in my description box is going to be having, you're going to, if you click the description, subscribe to my channel and then click the description, you're going to see a link that is going to lead you on how you can be able to get this particular code, to get the code from my GitHub account. You just download it there and then you can now use it also. You can use the project if you're doing your final year, you can use it as your final year project and then come and thank me later. But make sure to practice, because practice makes perfect. It helps you also to build your skills. Okay. Okay, now let me try to explain it more for us to understand how the code. So you can see it's pretty lengthy code. You get it? For us to understand it. Let's go deeper. So, and one thing you need to understand is that the SQLite connector, it is what the SQLite connect. Do you see the SQLite connect? It is what it is. It is what it is. It is a command that is used to connect Python. It's to connect what Python scripts to the database provided as arguments. That is what it is used for. You get it? So the data, then the connector, then this connector cursor line is used to align a cursor to your database. That is what it is used for. I repeat again. The SQLite Connect, this SQLite Connect, it is used. What is the use of it? It is a command that is used to connect Python scripts to our database and a database provided as argument. And then the next thing that we are having there is this connect the cursor. The connect the cursor line, is used to assign a cursor to your database. That is it. Okay. So don't miss that to understand it. So the next thing is that we are use the connector to execute, to be able to create a table. If the table does not exist, and given all the various fields, the table fields that we want to be able to have there, and passing all the constraint that we want to pass there by giving us to go with it. That's just what this is all about. And then the next thing we are going to be seeing is what? The next thing is that what? We are going to be seeing the functions. These functions. These are functions that will repeat. We are going to use them repeatedly inside, in our data storage and manipulation of the inventory. And it's going to play an important role, you get it, in these functionalities. Both are not explicit functions in the system. So we're going to be understanding all these functions. So we see the first function we have here is the def issuer card. The def issuer card function that we are seeing. So we are going to use this function. So this function here, I'm just going to explain what this is all about. So we are going to be using this function. So we use this function to do what? When we book, when the book is selected, isn't the selected isn't available. When that book that is selected isn't available, means that it has been issued, means that the book has already been issued. You get it? So this function is going to be initiated whenever we are adding or updating our book details to add the cart ID or the cart ID is of whosoever is issuing the book. So our book details to add the cart ID of whosoever that is issuing the book. So in this function, we will use what we use all the SD dot what the act string. You get it, act string. This SD dot act string that we are using here. You get the cart ID that we have here. See SD dot act string that we are using here. We are using it here. We are using this to do what? To ask the users for a string. That will be what? That will be stored as a book issuer's card ID. That is what we are asking the users for. So if the string is empty, we will display an error. It will display an error. That is the one thing. So, but if we fill the information, then it's fine. You get it? So if not, if it is not, so it's going to do what? Show. So it's going to now show now what? It cannot be a zero, means that you must be able to, and it's going to return that card ID. Else, you get it? So we are using a conditional statement here for us to go with it. Then the next function we are seeing here is what? This function here is the display record function. I'm going to be explaining this display record function here. So this display record function, so this function is going to be used to display all the records from our database to our table in the GUI window. The GUI window that I just showed you here, graphical user interface, because what the users use is what is shown here. They just enter their working, but they don't know what is in the background is the code that is doing the work in the background now before we see what we are using, isn't it? Exactly. I hope you guys are understanding. And before we are going forward, if you haven't liked this video, make sure to keep a like, press that like button, the thumbs up. Just click that thumbs up, guys, because this is a very beautiful project. Click it, and as I'm putting in the work, guys, support me by subscribing to my channel if you haven't subscribed, and then sharing to others, share to your social platforms, and clicking the like buttons. Okay, let's go. Let's continue. So as I said, this function is going to be used to display all the records for our database to our table in the GUI, right? The GUI window. So whenever we are making any changes to the data in our database, as for example, let's say you see, as the data is not automatically updated in the table, you get it. So first we do what? We delete everything from our table, referred to as the tree, isn't it? In our code, and then we use what? The SQL select. You get it? We use the SQL select. This is it. What I'm explaining. Let me just show it, because talking like that, maybe you guys cannot understand. This is the first thing, as I explained. Then the second one, now we're going to use the SQL connect. You get it? For us to be able to do what? For us to be able to do what? For us to be able to use the SQL select, which is select all the queries, to be able to select all the queries in the particular database for us to get, isn't it? For that database query to get everything from the table that we will insert in our table to update it for any changes. Right? We saw that already, isn't it? Which is beautiful. For us to update any changes. So that is why he said for record in data, he said what? We're going to be inserting at the end. If there's any changes, the value is going to be equals to the record, isn't it? We are assigning the record to values. That is what I've already explained and we have seen. Now the next function we are having here is the clear fields. The clear fields that I showed you, for if in case you have entered a particular information and the information is not okay, it's not really okay for you, the particular thing. For example, we have all the things as I explained. So this function, this clear field function, what is it going to do? Let me explain what the clear field function is going to do in this particular project. So this function will be what? Will be used whenever there are some values in our entry boxes in our window. You get it? Which will be removed using this. Means if you enter you've entered some values that are not like okay, you can now remove them using that, right? So this is the only functionality in this group that is also available as a button. So in this, all we need to do is what? We need to set all our strings var objects. That is what we need to do. We need to set all the string var objects. Right. That's what we need to do, to set them all. Why are we doing this? Because we set them as empty string. So our string bar objects manipulates all the entry fields, isn't it? And sets sets what the state of the box ID. It sets the state of the box ID. You can get it. It sets the state of the box ID. We can get all the various things, to enter to normal. We all do what? We will all do this because we can do what? We can what? Disable it when updating the book. No, the book details. Yes, let me put in this form. When we are updating the book details, we can be able to do that for us. So that is one thing that it is like doing. It is like this clear field is really doing for us. You get it? Which is beautiful. Now, the next function we are going to be seeing here is what? Is the clear and display function. This clear and display function. So clear and display function now is the situation where we are clearing now everything now to display the clear and display function. So what is the purpose? So this function is a combination of the clear field function and the display record to help our code becomes cleaner and less lengthier. It is very beautiful, right? Exactly. That is why we're using this function. Or that's why you say clear and display function. You say clear the field function and it's calling this clear field function and the display records. The next one we are having is what the add is what the next function we are having here that we need to understand is what the next function it is the add record that we saw. You want to add a record in your this thing. Yeah, it's going to continue to go for us to see. You're adding a record. It's okay. I'm just going to start from here because I'm coming down to explain. Don't worry about that. Okay. So is the order the this thing. The next which is what the add record for us to be able to see. So you see, for us to be able to add the records, you're adding a particular record, and then it's going to be displaying, also telling us if the particular record that you are adding, it has been issued. For example, get everything you want to add a record. See, you're adding the record into where in that particular table in the database, right? A particular table. So we are going to be able to get everything, and then it's going to be able to display that particular record. Then we can clear and display it, and it's going to show the information of the record that is added. So you see that is where that message box is going to come to tell us that it's going to tell us that a new record was successfully added, as we saw. You get to where you add the record, a new record was successfully added to the database. You see, except otherwise, we show that what it is already in use. If it is already in use or it is already there, it's saying that the book ID you're trying to enter is already in the database. If you're adding a record that is already in the database, it's going to tell you that record is already existing. So there's no need for you to add that particular record. The next function that we are having here is the view record, the view record function. So this view record function now is a function that we want to be able to do. Well, what is this view record function? The view record function now, this function is used to display the details of a selected record. Remember what I told you, when you select a particular record and then you want to be able to see the details of it. So in the row, in our table, so the function will first check if there is a record that has been selected. You have to first of all select. That is why for you, if you don't click the select, but you don't select it first, you'll not be able to view the record, isn't it? Exactly, that is it. As I was explaining, don't worry, I'm still going to run the program again for you to see the GUI, to see how we are going to interact again with it, to see the same thing. So for it to be able to go through, so the function is going to first of all check if the record is that has been selected. If not, then it is going to do what? If not, it's going to check if the record has been selected is there. If not, it is going to do what? It's going to ask you. You get it? If not, what is it going to do? It will display an error box that no record has been selected. We saw that, right? So it's going to display that no record has been selected. You must select. That is why you see it's going to tell you must select it in the table. So please do so. You must be able to select. If you don't select, how is it going to display? It's going to be able to view that particular record, isn't it? Exactly. That is what is going to happen. So if yes, then what is going to happen? It takes now the value So if it is a yes, it is going to take that particular value now, and it takes that particular value, and what is it going to do with the value in that record? And it assigns them to what? To our string var variable, which is intended to display it on our entry field. You get it? Which is beautiful, isn't it? Exactly. That is what it is going to do for us. Update the record. If you want to update. So in this update record, so what is going to happen? So this particular step, we are going to define all the functionalities that will manipulate the data in the table, the graphical user interface, right? And the database add record. So this is just what this is possible to add the record there. So this is going to be the book addition functionalities of our system. So when this function is initiated, it will read all the entry fields, and then it's going to add what is going to be able to add those to our SQL table, using what the insert. You get it, that we are going to be having. So you see all the particular records that we are going to be having, everything for us to be getting. That is going to do what is going to allow us to be able to get all the entries particular that I want to have. That is what this particular function is going to give. So what are we going to do? It means that what? It means that we can insert the query and then use to display record. You get it? Is used to display the record of the record, the record, display the record recorder functions we defined earlier as to add that to our GUI tree as well. So we start off by adding a condition that, the condition that we are adding 5, we're saying that we're adding a condition. Say if the BK status, this in BK status, the status of what? The status of the book. The BK is the book status, whether it is available or not. If it is available, that is the first. Else, what is going to happen now? The else partner is coming in. The else or else, if it is not, then you say what? We're going to else. We will set it to not available. Is it not issued? Means that you say NA means that what? Cable, because the book is available. It is not. It has not been issued, isn't it? Beautiful. That is what we want, right? That is for us to understanding. And then we can now issue a warning that the book ID cannot be changed. You can issue a warning to get it that the book ID cannot be what? Cannot be stored. We'll be saving the changes in the book details using what is book ID. So the book ID is unique. So it must not be changed. So after the user is sure for that particular user, for that, say let's say the user is sure for that particular word. Is sure, we will not insert in it now the database by using what the cursor execute. This is where now we can now set in inside the database by using the cursor execute. You get it? For us to be able to insert that into the database, and the cursor commit. This cursor commit also, we are going to do cursor commit commands, where we will be passing what the SQL queries. The query as an argument to the former. You get it? We are passing it as an argument to the former, which is beautiful. Right. Which is beautiful. That is why I say clear and display. This is edit, if in case we want to clear and display it to step back to do it, which is good. So edit this, so we'll give everything as it is, just for it to the state which is normal, which is beautiful. Now we are going to be seeing is the remove record. Remove record. So remove record. Now, what is this record now is going to be removing? Let's see. This is the next function we are seeing here, which is to remove the record. So in removing the record, now what is that the place of this function? So this is the book deletion functionality of our system. So when this function is initiated, it is going to do what? It is going to read the selected records. You get it? So it's going to read the selected records that are available. You get it in our GUI table, just as I showed you. So whenever the record you have selected, that record you have selected is the one that is going to delete. If you click on delete record, it's going to delete that record, means remove the record. It's going to remove that particular record. That is what it is going to do. So never means that one, and then it's going to delete both on the what, on that particular what, the record. We select that particular record and then it deletes from both, our GUI table and the SQL database. Means that not only is it going to disappear from this in the book inventory, that is a table we are seeing, it's also going to get deleted from the database itself also. Table. Using what? Using our tree dot delete. We're going to be using what? That tree dot, this thing, we're going to be using what? Or we use that tree dot delete function. Automatically, it is going to do what? It is going to delete it. That is just what it's going to do for us. Okay. I hope you guys are understanding. Follow when you see me highlighting, I'm explaining where I'm highlighting. That is where I'm explaining. That is for you to understand. There's so much to explain. So I'm trying to limit the time. That everything is in the code for you to be able to get. Okay. So we have this tree dot delete function here, means that what is going to do, that is automatically going to delete it. Remember, it's deleting both on base. And when you click, you want to click on it, you must select it. That is why it says, well, please select an item from the database. I already showed you guys this. That's why I'm rushing, because now I've already explained it on the GUI before. So it is very, very easy for you guys to understand, right? That's it. So the method and then delete the query respectively. So we are going to go and get what the value from the currently selected item of the table in the GUI window. So if there is no selection record, what is going to happen? We will issue an error box, right? The error message that says, please what, select an item from the database. Otherwise, it's not going to get deleted, right? You must select what you want to delete. That is what it is going to, for us to remove that particular record that we want to remove from there. You get it? So that is what is going to happen. So we will now remove that item, and then what happened now from the table by using what, the execute command. When we just click on that execute command, what happened? The item is going to get removed. You get it? It's going to get removed from the database and the table. So the combo is a combo, and from the GUI table, and it's going to uniquely identifying it by its what? By its ID value. So you should not forget that, by the book ID value. Then the next one we are having is what? Delete inventory. Delete inventory. This is the next function we are having, which is what? The delete inventory function. Okay, now, what is this delete inventory function all about here? Now, this is what I'm talking about. So this delete inventory function, what is the use of this function? This is the inventory deletion functionality of our system that will do what? Remove everything from both our tables, the database and the GUI. Right? So we will ask what? We will ask the users if they are sure. We should always ask them, are you sure? Are you sure? You get it? You make them to understand that, are you sure? Are you sure you want to delete the item? You get it? For them to be sure that this is what they want to delete before they are deleting. Are you sure you want to delete? But when it is delete, it can never be, because it's going to delete everything. It's going to delete everything, and it's never going to be recovered. We're going to be asking them, are they sure that they want to be able to delete that? Because it's going to delete for both the tables. It's going to be a combo. So if they are, then we are going to do what? We're going to delete everything from the database and the table, and then print an information message, by telling them that. But if they are not, we will be able to do what? To abort the process. It's going to now print information message to say delete from library. You get it? It's going to delete everything for us, and then it's going to else, otherwise it should return, right? So now the next thing we are having now that we saw already is the other part. If in case we want to do what? We want to be able to. So also we saw how to update the record, and this is what the book detailed update functionality of our system. This function was, so when initiated, what happened? It makes some of the changes in the graphical user interface window, right, that we saw, and activates the updates. So the sub functions, when the new buttons, the new buttons on our input field has been pressed, what happened? That button should be pressed when changes have been made. And we also saw the updates. So this is also what all those things are just what the sub keys, isn't it? The sub keys that we're able to use to be able to do all those things, to work with it. Those sub keys, that functions, the sub functions to go to update a particular record. So we do something similar with just like add record, that we are adding records. You get it? Just like we are doing some changes. We want to insert, we are updating insert, for example, you're adding things. If in case say else, what is it? You have to tell what is it that you want to do, isn't it? And then so the next one we are having is the change availability. The change availability function. So this is the what, the issue or return book functionality of your system, right? So this function is going to change an availability book, an available book. It's going to change an available book, to an issued book that we already saw when I was explaining. But don't worry, I'm still going to run the code, and we are still going to have the GUI, and we are going to still do the same thing that we did. So, for example, we want to add the issuer's card ID using what, the issuer's card function, and also vice versa, isn't it? So we first check. So what is going to happen is that what we are going to first of all check if there is a record selected in our GUI. So you have to first of all what, select the particular record. If the record is not selected, then it's going to throw an error to tell you that what, please select a book from the database. So you get it for it, because whatever you selected is what is going to return, right? So it's going to tell you to first of all select. So if the status now is issued, then we should be able to do what now? Then we should be able to do what? You should be able to the users now if the return is confirmed, and then update the record with the status as well as available ID. Isn't it? As the ID, isn't it? Exactly. That is what it is going to do. So it's going to return the confirmed message that has the book been with let me do like this so you to see where has the book been returned to you. You get it? For us to get a confirmation. Or otherwise they're going to do what? We are going to if the book is available, then we will use what, the issuer's card function to enter the card of what, of the issuer, and then what will happen? They will update now the SQL table. You get it? From then I can be able to run now update now what, the SQL table. Can now be able to update it, the SQL table now, for that to show that everything had gone smoothly, isn't it? Then we now display the changes now in our GUI table. So we can display what? The changes in our GUI table. That is what we can be able to do. You get it? So it's going to clear and display whatever we are having, the changes that we are having the GUI table. So almost at the last step, these variables, this is where we are now creating our what? In this step, we will create our entire GUI window. So this is it. That's why you see they say left. I'm giving everything to make you to understand. So if BG, these are the various colors. So what? I'm giving, I say light sky blue. If you want to change it, you can change the color. Deep sky blue, whatever. It's when I run it, you see the colors. So this is what the BG colors, the colors that we are giving there, and there's a background color for head, level, and bottom. So this is now creating that these variables, these are things that we're using now to create now what? We will now create our GUI, the entire GUI window. So we have a top head labeled which has the name of the what of our project, isn't it? We have the top, it has the name of our project, and then also we have what we have what we also then we have what we have a frame on the left side of the window. We have a frame on the left side of the window, right? Now we saw all these things are things we saw. I'm going to run it. When I run it, I'll open it and be showing it again for you to see. So for the window, I say name what left frame, where we do what we have all the entire word. We have all. So the left frame, where we have all the word, we have all the entire things that we are doing there, isn't it? Exactly. And then where we have we have what the fields that are stored in the book name. So it's ID according to what the library, the author name, just as the left side. Let me just run this project, but let me put it by the side for you to see what I'm showing. So you guys can see, right, what I'm trying to explain here. I already showed you this. I said what? I said in this step, so we're going to correct what the entire GUI. I see the entire GUI, this table like this. So these are all the specifications, and even the colors we are giving. Say light sky blue, the left frame. This is the left frame. This side is the left one, the light sky blue. And then we have what the deep sky blue, that is what for the right top. So the right top we have the blue sky blue, and then we have the dog blue. So for us to, for both of the thing, the various positions, the right bottom, the dark, this thing, for us to see all the different colors that I'm using. You want to change the colors, you can change the colors. You get it? If you want to still leave, if you want to use it, you see this is a what? Called Global Library Management System. It is our library management system. So, as I'm saying, so when we have the frame, we then have now what the frame on the left side window, name what the left frame. So this is the left frame side where in this left frame we are having what? We are having the book name. This is the book name, the book ID, the author name, the status of the book, and also we have what other keys, isn't it, that we are having there? If it has been issued or it is available, if the book is issued or is available, and then we also have what, and the person that has been that's issued the book in case, and also we have the button that is going to take all the fields data and then puts them into what, into the table, which is what, add new record, that we are having here on this table when it is being placed. And then on the right side of the window we have two windows on, say one on the what, on the top. We have two windows, one on the top. Then we are having one on the top and one on the top and the other on the bottom. So the one on the top is called what? It's called the RB frame. You get it? That's the RB frame that we are having there. That we are having there. So if you're seeing all these people to understand. So what is it that what I'm saying based on what I'm explaining here, on everything that I'm explaining here, is what I'm telling you how we're creating this. So how this came about, these are the variables where we created. So that's what we are having where this RB frame is short for right bottom frame. The RB is short form for right bottom frame. You get it? The right bottom frame. This right bottom frame that we are having here. So where we have a head level packed with what? To the top of the frame and the table, the tree view instance, where all our data from our database, all the data from our database is going to has been sorted into what? Into columns. It has been sorted into columns, isn't it? Into columns. These are different fields, different columns. It has been sorted into different columns. You see, the data in the database has been sorted in different columns. That is what is happening there in the tree view for us to be able to see in that format. Right. Which is beautiful. The database table has been sorted in that which was controlled by two scroll bars. It's controlled by two scroll bars. You can see these are scroll bars, meaning that if we put the information inside our database, these scroll bars here are going to help us to be able to control. For example, this table is full. You want to get a particular group, you just need to click on the scroll bar here. It's going to follow to assist us to be able to get the particular information, the particular book that is in the database as easy as possible. Okay, that is what is going to happen. So on the right and the bottom side of it. So the one on the top called what? The outer frame. So the outer frame. So the outer frame has all what? The right. So it has all what? It has all the bottom. All the buttons. Sorry, all the buttons that are perform the operation on the tree and the database. You can see these are the various buttons, right? The buttons we are having. See, it's telling me now, it's giving me this message. I've click on it and we know I've not selected anything. So we need to give all these things to make it. This is real life, guys. Real life. It's working and it's real life. So for us to be able to get all the functionality and everything for us to be able to get it. So hope this is clear, guys. Now I've just tried to, let me just close this. Now I'm just going to, these are everything I've been explaining is the same thing I've just written here. All the things I've been written here for you to understand the various frames, everything as I've been saying. So giving the various width, how you want the width of your frame to be, the height, all those things you are giving them. The length, the width, the height, everything you give. So depending on you, you can change this. Once you take this, we want it to fill the whole screen, guys. You just need to enter here and modify. You get it? You modify it because when I run this code, you see, when I run it, this is the dimension I gave. So you can decide to increase the dimension to fill the entire screen. It's your choice, okay? It's your choice to fill the entire screen. It's your choice for your project, to use a project how you want to work with it. So the left frame, you see this is the left frame, all the things I gave for the particular left frame, everything, the variables, everything as I set it up. This is it. all the right top frame as I've explained. Everything I've explained, this is them here that I've just shown you how I gave them all the various buttons: delete book record, delete full inventory, delete book details, and then change the book availability as I showed you, all the things. So this is it, guys. Everything I've given here is what I've explained, is what I've just been explaining. So that's it. And then finally, it's a finalizing the Windows. So it's a root.update and the main loop. So now let's run it again and do it again. So when you run it again, you see, this is it. It has opened the library management system. So called Global Library Management System, the library management system. Now you can now give now start giving it. For example, I say word Python. The book is Python programming. Let's say Python programming. Python programming, the book ID. I'm just going to give the book ID as, let's just say I'm giving as #1. That's the book ID because it's unique. It's going to remain the author name. Let's say my author name is just MN Nash. I'm just keeping it like that. Okay. Just a name. So is it available? Let's see if it's available or is issued. Okay, let's say available. Okay, I'm keeping it as available. Then I'm adding the record. Once I add, it's asking me, are you sure this is what you want? This is what you want to put? I say, yes, this is what I want. It says successfully added a record to your database, which is beautiful. That is what we want. But it has not been issued. That particular book is there. The book has not been issued. So it still is available. It's still available, but it has not been issued. Now, you add another book, let's say. So I'm just going to add, let's say, SQL. I'm just keeping it and then just give ID. I'm just going to give it as #2 because it has to be unique. What am I doing? Okay, #2. The author name, let's just say I'm just giving as SK James. No. Let me see. Okay, SK James. Yeah, James. It's okay. SK James. Is it issued? Let's say it is issued. Now, when I'm adding the record, it's going to ask me for what now? It's going to ask me for the ID. Who issued the issuer's ID, right? So let's say the issuer's ID was 101. So I'm saving, I'm taking OK. Then it's going to ask me, yes, that is what I want. So successfully added. So you see, it is issued. So this book is not available. It has been issued. And this is the issuer's ID. Guys, you can see how beautiful it is, right? Okay. Now I'm going to also add, let's say, I'm taking, let's say it's Java. Okay. So Java programming. So Java programming, the book ID, I'm just going to give it as #3. That's the book ID that I'm given as #3. And then the author's name. So the author's name, I'm going to give the author's name. Let me just give the name as Java. I'm just giving it like that. Java Peter. It's just a name, okay? Don't worry about that. And let's just say it's available and I'm adding the record. So if in case I'm adding the record, so it's added, which is good, it's beautiful. Okay. Now let's say I've just written, let's say for example, now I'm checking for C. Let's say C programming. C programming. So the ID, let's say it's #4. That's the book ID. And then the author's name, let's just say is what? Nadej Greg. And then available is issued. Now, for example, let's say now this field, maybe something is not okay here. I've written something. I want to just clear it, or maybe a particular listing that I've written, I want to clear, I've written that particular, I want to clear the fields. So you just clear, if you've written only one, you want to clear it. If you've written all, you clear everything. So now I want to delete a particular record. If I want to delete a particular record, what should I do? I just need to select that particular record. So if you see, if I click on delete, it's going to tell me, please select an item. If you don't select a particular item from the database, it's not going to delete for you because the inventory table is here. The book inventory, the database table is here. We are seeing in the graphical user interface. This is a GUI. So you're interacting with this, but the background, you don't know that what you're interacting here, everything has been coded behind the back scene. You get it? So I need to select, let's say I'm going to select the one that has not been used. So I click on that, select that, delete. You see automatically it's telling you that the record was deleted, successfully deleted, which is beautiful. And then delete all this means that it's going to clear every field in the database. And if you want to update a particular, I say what? to view a record, you must select it. So you want to update a particular record, select it. Let's say I'm selecting this one, I want to update it. You get it? I want to update it. So if I select it and I click on update, so now it is going to tell me now, yeah, where I can update it. Let's say I want to update it to be issued. It has been issued. I want to just update it directly from there. If I say update record, so it's going to tell me who issued it. So let's say 199, the person that issued the issuer's ID was 199. So it's going to tell me is the issuer's ID here. You get it? That updated the record. Now, to change the availability now, say please select the book from the table, database. You have to select also. Now, see, I want to change availability here. I click change of availability. Say, has the book been returned to you? Now, if the book has not been returned, can you change it? You cannot change it, right? Because if the book has been returned back to the library, the library manager now is the one, because the issuer, the person that issued it, the one with the ID, which is 199. If the book has been returned to you, you want to change the availability, means they brought it back, you want to make it available, you click on yes. And you click on yes, now it becomes available now, means that another student now can come to borrow that book from the library. Somebody now can come to the library, or maybe it's a public library or maybe a private library. Anybody can come to that library now, or it's a library at the school facility. You can now, they can come and take it. It's available now. So you have changed the availability because the book has been returned. You get it? But if the book was not returned, you cannot change. You change the availability means that you're the one to now pay the book for the book, right? Because if the person does not return with the book, means that it shows that you have received the book, isn't it? Exactly. So you see, that is how it is. So now, if you say you click here, no, you have to select. So if I select here, say change availability as a book will return. If no, I'll say no. So the book status cannot be set to available unless it has been returned. Can you see? Good. Now, if now I am done, if now, for example, now, no, all books that we want to clear from this, maybe we want to clear this particular table, inventory table in the database, what should we do? If you click on delete full inventory, you click here, automatically it is going to do what? Delete everything. It's going to ask you first, are you sure you want to delete the entire inventory? Because if you delete it, if you press this command, you cannot reverse it. So if it is a yes, you click on yes. So that's it, guys. This is beautiful and this is clear. So if you're still watching this video up to the end and you have not liked the video, what are you waiting for? Click the like button, comment, give me a comment in the comment section and tell me if this thing was really beautiful. And then, as I told you, the source code, click subscribe to the channel and look in the description below. You're going to get what you're going to get in the description below. You're going to get what you're going to see the you're going to see there is a link to my GitHub account for you to be able to for you to download the source code, everything about the source code. So it's no, you just need to use it and run it, and then you have your project for free, right? So the only thing you can do for me is to subscribe to my channel and to like the chat, the this in the video, and also to what to share for me. That's the only thing you can do for me because everything is for free for you to use. So that's it, guys. So for those of you who want to become Python developers, you look here at the end screen, you see there's a Python full course here for beginners. And then also those who maybe miss out in day one, day two of the other projects, you can look here, you see the Python full course for the Python project. You're going to see another playlist that is a Python project. If you click there, you're going to see all the projects and all the link, the source code of the projects are in my GitHub account. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much and see you in the next class. Bye-bye.